Pam Hurwitz and Jillian Rhodes, they are the founders of the founders of Family and Faith Collective. Together, they share over 30 years of ministry with children, teens, and adults and families in the Diocese of Orange. They understand the messiness of family life, but they also see an opportunity. Their organization is committed to providing the practical needs and resources for parents that support and encourage them to find and grow faith in their homes, which is exactly what we are trying to do with family faith formation here at St. Killian. So that was one of the reasons why we wanted them to come. And I just wanted to tell you a quick story. I always like to tell stories. When I was the assistant youth minister 20-some years ago, I walked in. The youth minister was definitely my spiritual mentor, still is. We walked into a meeting, and she hit me on the arm. She said, "Pay attention to that lady. She knows what she's doing." And that, of course, is Pam, and she has become my friend in the years subsequent to that. So I encourage you to do the same. Pay attention to this lady. She knows what she's doing.
Thank you. Good morning. Happy Advent. Second week of Advent, and our talk today is going to be covered in love, which is the theme for the second week of Advent. I want to ask you, because I don't want to scream at you, but I also want you to hear me. So am I too loud in the back? Too quiet? I'm good. Up here, am I just killing you? No, we're okay. Okay. Thrilled to be with you. Thrilled to be with you. And I don't know the last time anyone told you, but you're a big deal. And I'm sure all the way here today, your kids were telling you that, right? Since the minute they woke up. And I'm going to tell you why you're a big deal. Because I don't think there is any bigger deal than forming another life. And that's what we as parents do. That's a big deal. You will set a conscience in your kids. You will set a value system in your kids. You are a huge deal. And sometimes when we come to stuff, I think there's like 3 ways we listen like this. And the first way is, you know what, she's not going to tell me anything I don't already know. And we miss the whole thing. And the second way I think we listen is like, I need to remember everything she says, as if there's going to be a test at the end of this. Don't listen like that. I would invite you to listen for those things that you hear that you're like, I needed to hear that. I want to remember that. Just take a couple pearls from today, because anything you take into yourself goes into all the things that you have your hands on. That's why adults, especially parents your age, are the best investment in our church, because you have your hands on your kids, and you're also ushering your parents into the twilight of their life. So just to be able to speak into both those important areas is huge. A little bit about me. Okay, any wisdom I bring into this room comes from a couple things, and that is I was a youth minister and with Nick, and I always say that youth ministry is the hazing part of our church, okay? So you kind of got to get through it. You kind of have to jump in. And so I jumped in as a youth minister and had a fabulous experience for 10 years with young people who now are parents, which is incredible. Then I was invited to be a part of the diocesan team. So I worked with all the youth ministers from all 62 of our parishes for a period of time. And in the midst of that, I was raising my own two kids. My daughter's here with me today. You'll meet her afterwards outside. Her name's Jillian, and she's 30. And then I have a son, Joseph, who's 27. And as I was doing ministry, I began to realize, like, I'm not necessarily touching the homes of these kids, because I am thinking that somehow these teenagers are going to go home and talk about, tonight what we talked about at youth group was this, or that these second graders are going to come home and bring this into your home. And so I started realizing, wait a minute, I need resources talks as a parent to help me bring faith into my own home. And I couldn't find it, or couldn't find it in a language that I was looking for. And so I began giving the talks I needed to hear. And then I began creating resources I needed in my own home. And I have been on a mission now with my daughter for the last chunk of time, out talking to as many parents and families as I can. So I'm thrilled to be with you today, and I hope you'll take a couple things away from this. I love that you're coming with your kids. Okay, I love this idea. Like when I walked up today, I got out of my car and my heart started beating, and I was like, something is going on at St. Killian's. You could just feel it. The music, the Seas candy. I mean, you got it all here, okay? And I just thought, man, there's a community here. And so I know you might be thinking, these go to Mass, and now you're going to stay for this, and so I want to give you a lens, an example, an image for how I'm going to invite you to look at these times when you come as a family to be in faith formation together. Okay? So God said we need to rest. Okay, and he even, in his creating 6 days, busy as all heck, like we are, okay, just making all kinds of stuff. On the seventh day, he said, man, I need to sit and reflect. I need to sit and think about it. And so right away, he tells the people, man, you got to keep a Sabbath. You got to keep a Sabbath. You have to have some intentional time to sit with the people you love the most and think about things that are important, are most important. Okay, our Jewish brothers and sisters have nailed this. And I want to talk to you about what a traditional Sabbath looks like in a Jewish home. So in a Jewish home, on Friday evening, the woman of the home gathers her family just as the light leaves the earth at sunset, just as the light leaves the earth. And she has done all kind of stuff before that, because for the next 24 hours, no one in that home is going to work, is going to even like prepare food, run to the market, go to Target. For 24 hours, they are going to be with the people they love the most. They're going to rest. They're going to play. They're going to worship. And so what she does is every home has a candelabra. It's called a menorah. I have a Target threshold candle, okay? But every home has a menorah, and this candelabra is so important to them. It's passed on very often from generations. So the woman of the home, she gathers her family as the light leaves the earth, and she lights. This is always the Martha Stewart part, okay. Will it happen? She lights the candle. And she lights this candle signifying that God is the light of the world, that he is the light in the darkness, very similar to the Advent candles that we light. Very similar to the Advent candles we light. And then she prays this beautiful prayer over her family called the Shema. And let me tell you what her family does as she prays this. I love this. As she prays this, they make 3 circles. 1, 2, 3. And that means that is to signify to bring the light to yourself. Bring the light to yourself. And then as she closes the prayer, they cover their eyes so that they are completely immersed in the light. And I have 2 experiences with Jewish friends in Sabbath. One of them was I was on a phone call, a conference call with actually this guy in New York. And all of us were on his call. It was a Friday night, and it's 4 o'clock in New York. And he begins the call by saying, it's 4 o'clock here in New York. And in an hour, it's going to be 5. And at 5 o'clock, you're going to notice that I'm going to drop off the call because I have to run home and celebrate Sabbath with my family tonight. And I am not kidding. I became so jealous. I wanted to throw my phone across the room and say, could I do that? Does he have different DNA? Like, what is the deal? How is he doing that? And then I had another experience, and I got to know this Jewish young adult, and I was saying, tell me about Sabbath. Tell me, your family does this? And she's like, yeah. She goes, and you know what happens every time? When my mom lights the Sabbath candles, somehow I find myself again. I find myself again. How do we as families find ourselves, center ourselves? And so I'm going to invite you to look at these Sundays when you come here in faith formation with your kids. We're going to call ours not Sabbath, not a full 24 hours. We're going to call this a holy pause. A holy pause. For us to think about the things that are most important. To have our kids out there being reminded. And for us to hopefully leave here a little more reprioritized. Advent. I'm going to invite you to do holy pauses wherever you can. You know what a great holy pause is? Is to light a candle and remind your kids that God is light of the world, and then watch a really great Christmas movie together. And then bake together. Time is holy. Find ways to pause and experience it together with God right in the midst of it. And so as I begin, I'm going to invite you, I just lit the candles, I'm going to invite you to join me in bringing the light to yourself. 1, everybody, 1, what I'm doing, do this. 1, 2, 3, and now I'm going to invite you to be completely in the light. God of rest and of pause, be with us this morning as we reflect and as we renew ourselves and as we remember we cannot imagine loving anything the way we love our kids. And man, it can be so overwhelming. And so, God of light, be a flashlight. Direct us, lead us in our homes. Amen. Okay, So, what is this? Holy pause. Every time you come here, you tell your kids we're going in, we're having a small Sabbath. It's a holy pause right now we're going into, okay? That lady, that crazy lady, she told me that's what we're doing, okay? You're part of a community here, and you might not always remember that. And you're not just part of a community, but you're part of a community that want the same things for your family. So my kids played sports all the time, okay? My son played baseball his whole life. And when I was on a Little League team, I couldn't necessarily have a conversation with the person next to me and think that we had the same value system. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So a lot of these people, if I was having a problem with my husband, I wouldn't want to say, what do you think I should do? You think I should walk out on him or stay here? Whatever. Because I don't know that the people I was with were with me in the same direction. This is a community of people who all want the same thing for your kids. So I am going to give you a tiny bit of time throughout this talk to do something I call pair share. And already you're like, share. I hate that word. Why are we sharing? Okay. These are going to be really, because you know why you're sharing? Because there is wisdom in the room, not just up here. There is lived wisdom all throughout this room. And so the first thing I'm going to ask you to do, and that's why I gave you a pen and a piece of paper, get your pen and your piece of paper, is I'm going to ask you to write down your name, because you're going to tell someone. And in case you get too nervous, write down your name. Number 2, I want you to write down the names of all your kids and their ages. The next thing I want you to do is write down one thing you love to do with your family. You love to do with your family. And the last thing I'm going to ask you to write down is one word to describe God. Right now. We're all in different pieces of our faith journey. God might be distant. He might be peace. He might be a judge. Just one word, the first word that comes to you, one word to describe who God is. Okay, so I'm going to go back over it. Your name, the names of your kids and their ages, one thing you love to do as a family, and one word to describe God. Now, anyone need more time? We're good. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do is you're going to find someone who is going to be your pair, so they have to be close to you, because we're going to do this a few times. And they're all going to be easy questions like this, okay? And so you're going to turn to someone and say, there's extroverts and there are introverts in the room. How many people know they're already an extrovert? Raise your hand. Oh, man, there's not very many. Okay. Introverts, this is a challenge, okay? You're going to have to turn to someone and just say, you're my partner, okay? Will you be my partner? Okay, so just someone close by you. I know you got masks and you got to socially distance, so make sure you do that, but find someone that you can just say, will you be my partner? We're good, go, okay? And then if you need to have 3, 3s are good too, 2s are good, 3s are good, 4s work even 4s work, okay? So just find somebody. Does anyone not have a partner? Okay, 3s, 4s, however. Okay, now take a few moments and answer the questions with each other. Go. Okay, one more minute, wrap it up. Okay, come back, come back, come back, come back. Okay. I want to ask you, tell me a few of the words that you had for God. And just somebody say one. What? Forgiving. Love. What was that? Mate? Faith. Sorry, mate. Okay, that would not work. Okay. Faith. That would be good. Okay. Good. Okay, yes. Over here you had one? Merciful. Generous. Confidant. Beautiful. There's a lot of images of God. And as we journey, we meet him in different ways. And I'm going to talk to you about two images that I'm going to kind of wind together that are so important in the scriptures, the story of God, okay? And so one word is Father, and another word is Promise Keeper. This is a Father who keeps his promises. And I'm going to talk to you about that. The first one, I want to talk to you about this image of God as a parent, as a father. And when God made the world, he used his voice. So he commanded, let there be light, boom, light. Let there be stars, boom, stars. Let there be oceans, oceans, animals, vegetation. Every part of our world was created from the voice of God except for us. Because for us, he used his hands. He picked up the dirt, the clay, and molded it, and his fingerprints are all over us. And when he created the light and the daffodils and all the stuff, he said it was good. But when he created humans, he said, man, this is very good. And he said, this is very good. You are very good this moment. Not when you get parenting right. Not when you are forgiving. Not when you are, not da-da-da-da. This moment, just by the fact that you were created by God, you are very good. He is crazy in love with you. And I don't think we hear that enough. This God loves like a parent. Are you crazy in love with your kids? Yes. My daughter just made me a grandma, which I have to say, everybody hypes grandma. They're like, don't even have kids, just have grandkids, and I'm like, and it's true, okay? It is outliving the hype, okay? So 3 months ago, I became a grandma, and we worked together, and so she, about 38 weeks, she's waddling. She hates me to say waddling, but whatever, she's kind of walking around, and we have a warehouse. We make our stuff, and I'm looking at her, and I'm thinking, man, these next 2 weeks now, it's getting close. I got to start talking to her about how incredible this is. And oh my gosh, the love and this and that. And Saturday morning, that was Friday night. Saturday morning, she calls me and she's screaming, crying, my water broke. So she is on her way to the hospital. And I'm thinking, Pam, dang it. You didn't give her the Cliff Notes. And the next thing I know is I walk into that room and she's holding that baby. And I thought, Pam, what are you thinking? You don't need to teach her how to love that baby. She already does. God made us and said we were very good. And he gave parents this crazy thing that when he ended on 7 days, if I would have done the world, I would have just signed it and said, it's good, we're done. This is how it's going to look. But he gave parents the opportunity to co-create with him. We actually bring life. We continue his creation. And we are makers too. And just like God can't help but love the project, either can we. I just stood there and I'm like, oh my gosh, Jillian, tiny little eyelashes, chubby little cheeks. He's a maker, and we get to be a part of the making. I want you to turn to your pair share person. You can write your answer if that helps you. But this is gonna be a quick one. Just a memory, one memory you have of those first moments with one of your children. Just one memory. Close your eyes for a minute and just think back. One memory you had in those first few moments of life. Okay, turn to your partner. Go. Okay, come on back, come on back. Okay. I am going to share my image, okay? I have 3 brothers. I have no sisters, okay? And then all my brothers had boys, okay? And I was sure. I only had a boy's name picked out. I just thought for sure I'm having another boy, okay? We didn't find out what we were having, okay? So as in the middle of the night, at 3 o'clock in the morning, this doctor's voice says, it's a girl. And I said, what? And he said, it's a girl. And I said, say it again. And he said, it's a girl. When God looks at me, you know what he says? It's a girl. Those first ways that you looked and went, oh my God, it's mine, it belongs to me. The awe, the wonder, that's how he looks at us. God is a father. And we get a taste, a tiny taste of the way he loves in our parenting. In our parenting. I remember I was 6 months after I had my daughter, my dad my grandma died, and my dad is from Illinois. And he said, Pam, I really want you to go with me back for the funeral. And so him and I just went, just the two of us. And we've never done that before. And we are out in the middle of cornfields. And we're driving together. And all of a sudden, I said to him, I go, Dad, I go, oh my gosh, I just realized you love me the way I love Jillian. Wow. Thank you. We get a taste of how this God the Father loves us by how we love our kids. So, this God, sorry, I don't want to get mixed up here. So this God creates these human life, and he says, man, it's really good. And now he says, I want to get to know them. I want to get to know them. I want to parent. And so right off the bat, I mean, Adam and Eve just, they just stand for everything in us and in humanity. We're broken. We're fragile. We're broken, we're fragile. And so this God realizes, man, God, they didn't choose me. They didn't obey me. They didn't listen to me. But as a father, he continues to try and love and parent them. And so what he does is he chooses a people, Israel. And he chooses, is everything okay? Oh, okay, Landon's parents. Okay, right there, perfect, awesome. Hope everything's okay for Landon. Okay, so he chooses these people, the Israelites, okay? And the word Israel, that word means struggle with God. Israel means struggle with God. And we are descendants of the Israelites, and we still are struggling with God. But this parent God, this God that wants to know his people, he starts this distant relationship with them. He speaks in trees, fire, his voice. And he chooses some people to lead, to parent for him. And the first big name on the scene is Abraham. And he makes a covenant, a promise, an agreement with Abraham. And he says, I will be your God, and you will be my family. You will be my people. You will be my people. And he also tells him, I will lead you. I have prepared for you. You are going to inherit a promised land. A promised land. So, okay, they're human beings. And what do they keep doing? Messing up. Struggling with God. They're taken over. They're in back and forth. And then another leader comes on the scene, chosen, and that leader is Moses. And he strikes a new promise, a new covenant, a new agreement with Moses. And he tells them, okay, we got to get this, you guys got to get your stuff together. So here's what it's going to be now. I will be your God, and you will keep my commandments. Here they are. Boom, 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 boom. Number one, put me first. We're still messing up with that. Number two, da-da-da-da. So now he's trying again. And all he's doing this for is for the people's good. He's like, this is for your good. I want you to be happy and peaceful, and I want you to know me. So God, in the midst of this unruly family that he is trying to somehow manage, does something radical. Does something radical. He says, I got a new covenant. I got a new agreement. And this time, the agreement is love. And I am going to send my son to be with you, so I can be close to you, so I can be near you, so I can understand you, so I can listen to you, so I can help you, so I can be an example to you. Advent, we were a mess. It's not like Christ came into this, like everybody's like raising their hand and like, what should we do? No, we were a mess. And in the midst of a mess, this God who loves us crazy said, oh, no. Forget the other agreements. We're going into a New Testament. And I'm going to give you an example. In the Old Testament, God takes Moses, takes this leader out to a mountaintop, and he says, these are the commandments. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Then he sends his son, Jesus, and Jesus is on a hillside with all God's people. And he gives us the new laws called the Beatitudes. And instead of saying, don't do this, he said, blessed are the peacemakers. Happy are the people who forgive. Happy are the people who share and are just. He wants us, just like we want for our kids. He wants us to be peaceful, to be in right relationship. And he wants to be near. Now, here's what happens, I think, with our generation. Israelites, it's just, we're all blah, 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 blah. But here's where I think he is with us right now. And so this Jesus comes, shows us all this, okay? And now we have hit the generation of man, that sounds good. But dang it, if I wasn't so busy, maybe I could think about you more. Maybe I could look at that more. And I feel like busyness is like our mantra now. Like you got to walk in a room and tell people, man, I'm so busy. Like I am so busy. And that just says, man, I'm doing stuff. But somebody asked me the other day, they said, Pam, do you want your kids to be as busy as you are? What do you say to that, parents? Do you want your kids to be as busy as you are? No. So here's what I think our generation has done is we have made God something to do. And so here is my example to you. This is our week, our month, okay? And these are things we have to do. Our kids got to go to school. We got to take them. We got to go to our jobs. We got to get our hair cut. We got to go to the dentist. We got to go to the doctor. We got to go to grandma's house. We got to go to birthday parties. We got to something else. Go to coffee. We got to groceries. We got to cook. We got to clean. What? We got to make, yes. We got to do our Christmas cards. We don't have time to talk about Jesus. We got to write Christmas cards, okay? So pretty soon, we're filled. We're like, and then somebody's like, oh my gosh, Pam, here's the God rock. And I'm like, I'm too busy. I don't have room. But in this analogy, God is not another thing to do. God is water. He wants to be near. He wants to come in close. God in the midst of Little League. God in the midst of my work life. God in the midst of my marriage. God in the midst of my kids. He came to be close. He said he would. He promised. We all have a spirituality. And that's kind of how we look at the world. It's kind of a lens we use to look at the world. And so there could be a materialistic spirituality, which is like people put on the glasses and they're like, get this, do that, I got to have it. But if we're Christians, then we put on the Jesus glasses. And that's how we look at our lives and our interactions. I cannot tell you how valuable these Jesus glasses were to me. Because when my kids got in the car and were like, I'm never talking to so-and-so again, and da-da-da-da, and that teacher, and blah, 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 I would have to say, look again. Look again. Look with eyes of love. Look with eyes of love. So this is a God who came to be close. And that's what he wants to be in your families. He's not trying to make you, he's not like going, okay, here's the deal. You got to come all the way to St. Killian's to see me today. And then you don't have to talk to me for a really long time again, maybe a month, okay? No. He said, I want to talk to you all the time. In the midst of your laundry, when you throw up your hands and go, I can't do it anymore, talk to me. Talk to me. And bring your kids to me, because life is not going to make sense until you do. And we can fight them on it, man. We could just go, I'm putting on other glasses, man. I'm just da-da-da-da. But it's not going to make sense. It's not going to be peaceful. It's not going to have purpose until we do. And what did God say the whole way through? I forgot. He always said to all those little people, you and you and you, all those leaders, he kept saying, and I will prepare a place for you. And this Jesus, this agreement, this covenant, his life, his sacrifice, is our way to be with God forever. And I don't know about you. I love my kids too damn much. I don't want to leave them here. I'm taking them with me. We're all going. And he promises that. He sends the Son to sacrifice his own life, to just pour grace over our disobedience, unruly, whatever, and says, man, it doesn't matter. You're my kids. I want you with me. I want you with me. He keeps his promises. He's a father who loves his children. And he wants to be in your home. And he already is. It's not as if you have to go, I'm take Jesus home with me today, okay? She gave him to me and I'm going to take him home. He's already in your house. Notice him. When Moses, there's a part when Moses and God are talking, and Moses is just where he always is, just on this desert ground. And God says, take off your shoes, Moses. Don't you know you are on holy ground? We are human beings that are always in the midst of divinity, in our homes, everywhere. God's trying to meet us. He's a father who keeps his promises. And the whole Bible is a love story. It's a love story. And when I talk to young parents today, I get so sad because I say, who's Jesus? And they're like, A, he's something to do. B, he's a judge. I mean, he just gets in the way, man. And I think, man, if you don't know God is love, how can you give your kids a loving God? And a lot of it is, you know what? The fault of a church that's broken. So some of you got messed up ministry, and some of us got messed up church. But it doesn't matter, because us and our relationship with God, he will continue. We have to wrestle, rethink it. Who do you want your kids to know God as? And Father Greg Boyle, one of my favorite authors, he says, the biggest determiner in your life is who your God is. Nothing matters more than how you see your Creator, your God. And guess what? What did I say? You're a big deal. You're going to give that to your kids. You're going to give that to your kids. Okay, I have 16 more hours of things to say to you in a minute. So what I'm going to ask you to do is because I want you just for a moment to share a piece of who God is with your partner. And so I want you to just turn to your partner and say to each other, peace be with you. Go. Now, next thing is I'm not trying to plug my resources, but yet I just said I have resources. I hate that, okay? But what I am trying to do is give people tools. And so many parents, I say, pray in your homes. And they're like, give me the dang prayer, Pam. Where is the prayer? I need the prayer. I need the blessing to pray over my kids. We haven't done a good job equipping parents. So I do want you to know, when you go outside today, there are little kits, little simple things. This has a saint in the making, a saint for each month. Our kids need heroes that are holy. Put one of these up. Talk about it. St. Joan of Arc, be with me, kid. Help us be brave as a family this month. However, there's all kinds of something to do during Advent. There's simple little tools out there if you need them. Okay? Number one. Number two, be parents who keep their promises. My last image I'm going to give you of this whole thing that I just talked to you about is this one, my favorite video, which is called Rain. It's this video that you can watch. You can look on it, YouTube, Rain. And what happens in the video is this dad, he's all excited. And he's going to take his young son, like 1 year old, on a hike. And he puts him in those crazy backpacks they sell now. He's got him in the backpack. And they set out on this hike, and it is sunny. It is perfect. And the dad's, nothing could be better. The kid's like babbling, and it's just going awesome. And they're walking through this trail. And he gets about halfway through the trail. He still has this other half to go, and it begins to sprinkle. And then it begins to rain, and then it begins to pour. And all of a sudden, this kid is now shrieking and screaming, and this dad takes him out of the backpack. And he puts him in his jacket, and he holds him so tight in his jacket, and he runs all the way back just saying, "It's okay, buddy. Dad knows the way home. It's okay, buddy. Dad knows the way home." And that's what God, this parent, through all the things and the storms and the rains and all the stuff that happens, hear him tell you, it's okay, buddy. Follow me. Dad knows the way home. And what he wants us to tell our kids is, when we have them in that backpack, it's okay, because I know the way home. Follow me. God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you, Pam. We have a couple of announcements. First thing, next Sunday, December 12th at 2 p.m., in the hall, there will be a little rehearsal for the children's pageant that we do every year on Christmas Eve. It's done at the 6 p.m. Mass. The practice will start at 2. I think I said that part. So if you want your kids to be a part of that, then email me, let me know, and I can actually send out a little form for you. Information is also in the bulletin. But since I had parents here, I thought I would. Really, whoever. We just want kids to participate, you know what I mean? So the little guys usually get to be like, like a sheep or an angel or something like that, and then the bigger kids have bigger jobs. That's just how that goes. The next class is January 2nd. Okay, so it's the day after New Year's. That's a little bit of a weird Sunday, but we're keeping up with our first Sunday of the month. Like we're staying right on that. Okay, so same schedule, January 2nd for faith formation. And then the February date is February 6th. So yeah, you have your lessons for this month. If you take a look in your packets, 2 of you will have a little golden ticket thing in your packet, and Cindy or Gretchen have a little prize for you if you are the ones who have pulled a golden ticket out of your packet, okay? Just so you know, that's something we're gonna keep up with, so you guys can check and see if you won something. All right, we are going to close with a prayer, and one of our parent volunteers is gonna do that for us.
All right, a closing prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Spirit of God, come and be with us this Advent. Draw our attention to your presence in our lives, and those we love and those we need to love better. Remind us of your promise to be with us always. Open our hearts so that we might seek and find you in the unfolding of your promises as we pray for peace in ourselves and the world. Amen.
All right, I think some of your kids are actually already outside, so we will see you next time.